I mean, how excited are you? I mean, now just a day away, it seemed like there were times when maybe this wouldn't happen. Maybe it would happen earlier. Maybe it would happen later. What's the excitement level going into tomorrow night?
I think there's a little bit of disbelief at this point,
Yeah.
right? I mean, for so long you just are wondering, hey, is this? You know, you're optimistic, but you're just kind of wondering, hey, is this really going to happen or not? And I just being a day away, and with both teams getting great results with their COVID testing prior to matches, it's going to happen. So we're just super excited. The girls are excited. Just it's almost like the day before Christmas at this point.
In the conference, everybody knows everybody. What do you know about TCU? Beat them last year, but I believe it was an NCAA tournament team. What do you see from them coming back this year?
They're always a really good team. They're really well coached. They're a technically sound team. They've got great athletes. They're solid. I mean, just our conference from top to bottom is very solid. They got a lot returning. They didn't lose a whole lot to graduation. So they're a very very good team, and I think their experience returning is an advantage for them, obviously, because things have been so different, and there's no exhibition matches or preparation, but they know their team pretty well. But maybe something good for us is we think we know them too. But we'll see. We're just excited to roll the ball out.
Thanks, Paul.
All right, Will.
Coach, specifically for TCU, they've got Messiah Bright and Yasmin Ryan, the two preseason Big 12 selections. How have y'all been planning to stop them specifically?
Yeah, I mean, I think for most of this preseason time, we spent a lot of time working on us, to be quite honest, because we've got so many young kids. So the emphasis for most of it has just been, hey, what do we need to do in general to be the best that we can be? And I think if we can do that, then we'll be able to compete against the best players in the country, and those are two great ones. But I'm excited for our group that we're going to face players like that right out of the gate. I'd rather do that than and kind of know where we stand and know where we are going on to the other 8 games after than not see that right away and kind of have to build up for it. So, but they're ready for it, and I think the adrenaline and the excitement of the moment will carry a lot of weight today. I mean tomorrow, not today, not today, tomorrow.
All right, Jerry.
Paul, obviously you were blending a lot of newcomers with your returners. How has that process gone, and do you have a good feel for what you're going to see tomorrow night?
Yeah, I mean it's gone really well. I mean, just a ton of credit to our veterans and upperclassmen for really opening their arms and welcoming these young kids in and getting them acclimated as best we can, even with the new protocols and things in place with COVID. It's been different, but they've acclimated really well, and they've gotten these young kids on board. And I feel really good with where they're at and how they've kind of intermixed in with the veterans. So yeah, I mean it's going to be great. I'm excited to see them against some other opponents, other than just playing against ourselves, just to see really where we are. But I'm excited. I think it's a really really good group. Really, it's a large number, but a very talented young group.
John.
Paul, is it a little strange? I guess everything's been strange this year, but no NCAA tournament afterwards, no Big 12 postseason. Is that a little strange to deal with? Not just knowing you're going to have 9 games.
Well, I think what it does is it really calls out who has coach speak all year and who really believes it's one game at a time. So, and for me, you've heard me say it forever. I think I'm a man of my word. It always has been about one game at a time. So we don't focus too far away, but it is different. There are different motivating factors that you want to use for your team. But I think the great thing, and you mentioned it, everything is so different and so unusual that the reality now, we're just excited to play one game at a time. It really is about, man, we get to play on Friday. Awesome. Let's roll the ball out and play. And we'll take next week. Hopefully next week we'll worry about next week, but let's get this game in and let's play. And if there's an NCAA tournament in the spring, that'd be great. But we can't look that far out. We've got to take care of this weekend.
Thanks, Paul.
Brooke.
Have you had any freshmen come in and instantly make an impact to where we might see them starting tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have a few freshmen starting, honestly, tomorrow. And I would say all of them have made an impact. You know, you got a number that large in a roster where they make up half of the roster, basically. You know, they are 14 of, 29 players on our roster. So they're definitely making an impact. So, yeah, you're going to see a couple of freshmen starting. You'll see Gabby Mueller in the midfield as a starter. You'll see Mac Anthony on the front line as a forward, and a couple other ones out there as well. So, yeah, they're making an immediate impact.
Anybody else for Paul? Jerry, here we go.
I just didn't want him to leave so quickly. It's been so long since I talked to him. So, in a short season like this, and like you said, it is one game at a time, but do you have certain goals or what you want to get accomplished in these games?
I mean, ultimately, we want to be Big 12 champions, right? I mean, that is what's on the line, a Big 12 regular season championship, and hopefully an opportunity for a tournament championship. But right now, it's a regular season championship. And I think week to week, what we're just trying to do is get better as a team with so many young players, and they've got to get used to speed of play. They've got to get used to the competitive level and the competitive nature of what college soccer brings as a young team. So meshing together with the veterans and the talent we have coming back, those have got to be the immediate goals of how quickly can we get to the next level. And I feel great about the squad, their quality. All across the board. So those are kind of our short-term goals, along with the long-term goal of doing what we need to do to win a Big 12 championship.
Maddie was coming back from the ACL or second ACL surgery. How is she in her recovery? And then how's the general health of the team?
Yeah, I mean, Maddie's a great story, and of course the publication went out today with her story. So I just encourage everybody to read that. Just a fantastic story about her journey here, and her journey to get here, and her journey here, just with her 2 ACLs and coming back, and she'll be playing in this first match. So I'm excited for her, and I know she's excited. I know the team is excited for her as well to get on the field. She's just a big piece of the spirit and talent of this program. So I'm excited to get her out there. And just overall health, great. I mean, we've got the delay in the start of games has been good for us because we're going to be able to utilize Maddie and a couple of other girls in these first couple of games, which has been great. It's given them a few more weeks to recover from some injuries along the way. So yeah, overall health is great. We got a few that are out, but overall we've got we've got a much bigger available roster than we did last fall. Currently knocking on wood right now.
Thanks, Paul.
Brooke.
You mentioned earlier TCU having an experienced roster, a little bit more on the older side, you guys on the young side. With no non-conference games or exhibitions, you have no film on TCU. The fact that they're experienced, are you relying on last year film at all? Because you have half of your team as freshmen who have never seen them at all.
Yeah, I mean, we as a staff, we've gone back and watched a lot of last year, just because their personalities are very very much the same. Now, what they'll do with those personalities might be different. The coaching staff does a really good job of mixing things up at times and throwing curveballs and whatnot. So we'll see what they bring to the table. But I think for us, and it's always been this way, it's an overall mentality that we bring to the game. And what I've been impressed with is that these young kids, these freshmen, have really bought into this mentality right away. So I feel really good about where they are when it comes to competing at the Big 12 level against a quality team that, TCU was picked third by the coaches poll this year. So there's a lot of respect for what they're bringing back. But we also have, we were talking a lot about the rookies. Our veterans are doing a great job. I mean, there's a few of them out there that are just leading by great example. And they're familiar with TCU, and they'll be able to lead the charge on the field and are great coaches on the field for our young players.
Jess.
Hey, Coach.
Hey,
I'm
Jess.
so excited. Just almost in tears that I'm so excited we get to actually play. So this
Awesome.
is fantastic. I hope you guys feel the same way. It's pretty exciting.
Absolutely.
I wanted to ask you about what you learned from last year and last year's group specifically, and kind of now that you can look back on that year. And obviously, it was a very up and down year. You had some big wins, and then some challenges. So, what do you take away from last year's experience going forward?
I think the greatest thing about having a season like that is that your girls that are returning just kind of have this nagging feeling in the back of their head, kind of in their gut and in their soul, of maybe some things that were left undone, and some opportunities that were missed. And really, I think that's the thing I see really pushing our veterans and bringing these young kids on so quickly, is that just there's something in them that they can't get out of them. And I think one of the things that we were worried about if we didn't play this season is how much longer was that going to have to linger before we get back on the field and prove what kind of team that we really are. So a lot was learned based on who we want to be as a program. You don't want to be that inconsistent team that's up and down from game to game. You want to be consistent in who you are and what you're about. And I think that was a big lesson that was learned, that, we've still got to get out and prove that. It doesn't just happen. We've got to step on the field and prove those things. But definitely a lot learned with our veterans for sure. And as a staff too, what are the things that we needed to do better to bring out the best in our players from game to game.
What about soccer specifically? Looking back, do you feel like there's certain things in each of the lines that you felt like they needed to step up? Is there anything specific that you're kind of working with here in the preseason in terms of the lines?
Yeah, and I wouldn't compare it, this year to last year, because personnel is so different that you can't say, well, I'm not TCU that's bringing back the bulk of their team and saying, well, what we did last year, here are the things we need to change with our personnel. Our personnel has changed a lot. So what we've got to do is we've got to bring in those kids, and we've got to say, okay, what team are we now? And what can we look like, and what can we do, and how can we be the most successful with what we have? And that's what I'm excited about. I think that's what our team and staff are excited about, is we've got some quality players that are returning, obviously, and have returned. You don't know how people are going to come back from this COVID season. And I've been really impressed with our veterans of how they've come back. You can tell they've been on the ball. You can tell they've been working out. So that's been really impressive. And then with our young kids, they're talented. It's a large class, but it's extremely talented, especially for a number of them to step on the field right away to be starters at this program. They're talented. And I think you'll see some things that'll be different. You're probably going to see a little bit more movement of the ball on the ground for us. We obviously don't have the speed of Reagan Padgett on the wing anymore, so that's going to change the dynamic. So we've got to find different ways to get into the final third. But the soccer IQ of this team might be the best soccer IQ team that we've ever had at Baylor.
Excellent.
But we're still going to move fast from back to front. We're still going to play hard. None of that's going to change.
Right. The Baylor way is what I'm hearing it referred to.
I like that. I hope that catches on.
Can you maybe just pull out a few freshmen and do some quick hits on a couple key personalities, specifically for tomorrow, that you feel like we might be talking about quite a bit?
From freshman standpoint?
Yeah, freshmen.
Yeah, so I'll start in the front, which is totally not the Baylor way. We usually start in the back, but I'll start in the front. Mac Anthony is a freshman out of Chicago, played for the Soccers organization that, if you're around soccer, the Soccers. Strong, athletic kid, powerful, really good on the ball, is going to combine really well with another freshman, Gabby Mueller, in the midfield, and our other outside forwards, Taylor Moon and Liz Koyman. So she's got a great soccer IQ. She's extremely hard worker, athletic, and you're going to see a lot from her, and hopefully see a ton of goals from her. She's just got a knack for the goal. So you'll see a lot from her.
Nice.
I mentioned Gabby Mueller in the midfield. She came in the spring, so she got the 2 or 3 weeks of spring that we had with everybody. which was great for her, but really creative midfielder. We kind of keep comparing her a little bit to Alini. She's not at Alini's level because Alini was such a veteran player coming through here, but she's very creative, very smooth on the ball, gets herself out of trouble very easily. Double teamed, and next thing you know, she's out. It's really amazing. And her ability to combine with our forwards as well as Maddie Algie and Allie in the midfield will be something really fun to watch. Another one, just kind of, we're going down the spine of the field here, but Chloe Yapich is a freshman out of California that honestly, she probably could play anywhere on the field. She's that talented of a player. She's the kid that's out at practice 30 minutes early and 30 minutes after, just really dedicated to the game and her craft. But she'll start as a center back for us this year. And will be a leader and has really gelled really well with Sarah Norman and Jen in the goal. So I've been really excited about her and her combinations with Allie as our defensive midfielder. So those are a couple of the freshmen that you'll see. You'll see another freshman, Sarah Horniak, as an outside back for us as a starter too. And then a few others obviously will kind of come in off the bench to fill some important roles for us.